Level 2. The ego's wrong-minded thought system of guilt and attack. Once in the world as a body, a shadowy fragment of the original thought of separation, the ego thought system becomes expressed in specific, individualized ways. Each of these, in its own manner, expresses the fundamental ego wish for all its fragments to keep the separation it stole from God, but to project its responsibility onto something or someone else. In other words, we all get to have our ego's cake of separation and enjoy its sweetness by eating it at the expense of others who are judged responsible for our separated state. To say it another way, we are born into this world with the specific wish to be unfairly treated, seeing in others the sin we do not want to see in ourselves. Thus are we able to keep our individual identities but divorce the sin that the ego had wedded to it, thereby becoming the face of innocence that hides the underlying face of the murderer. In more general terms, the ego makes up one problem after another to be solved, the different forms of avoiding pain and pursuing pleasure, and each is deemed capable of disturbing or even destroying our peace. The world, like the mind that is its source, becomes a battleground from which there is no escape, prison of sin and guilt that the mind will never leave, as it is seemingly trapped within the body. And so we walk the world in savage search for sin, the cause of our distress, to be perceived in others and there to be attacked and judged. In so doing, we reinforce our identification with the mindless state of physical existence and maintain our lack of responsibility for what befalls us. All this can be summarized by the twin ego cycles of guilt attack and attack defense, which together constitute the double shield of oblivion discussed in Lesson 136. We are born into this world with a fully developed ego thought system, as well as a fully developed Holy Spirit thought system, which we shall discuss presently. The purpose of this birth as bodies being to conceal the mind's guilt so it can never be undone. This guilt, as we have seen, is part of the ego's strategy to keep the son's decision-maker from choosing the atonement thought of love that is also in the mind. Thus guilt is the ego's first shield of oblivion. Yet needing a second line of defense, the second shield, the ego, convinces the son to abandon his mind and enter the mindless state of physicality. This is the body that acts as a smoke screen, concealing the mind. The true source of the problem, behind the distracting hiding place of the world of problems and concerns. Once in the body, the son has the perfect opportunity over and over from birth to death of projecting his unconscious guilt onto others, thereby attacking them for the sin he placed on their guilty heads. The guilt attack cycle. These attacks have two basic forms that are the heart of the ego's thought system of separation: special hate and special love relationships. Although these terms are never used in the workbook, they are referred to by implication throughout, and so deserve some explanation here. The special relationship begins after the ego's separation leaves off, and the son emerges as a creature of lack or scarcity. For something is indeed missing. Needless to say, the ego never reveals that what is missing is the memory of God's love that has disappeared from awareness. Instead, it says that what is lacking is the innocence that was taken by another, and thus the experience of scarcity has given way to the experience of deprivation. Someone has deprived me of what is rightfully mine. I am thus justified in taking back what was taken from me, the ego's fourth and fifth laws of chaos. My attempt to retrieve this lost innocence takes two basic forms. Special hate is where I directly attack another, thereby accusing them of the sin of theft and murder of which I secretly accuse myself. While it makes our attempts at projection easier to have someone actually attack us, or others with whom we identify, in the end it makes no difference. Whether your attack on me is real or imagined, I will blame you regardless. Special love, on the other hand, is more subtle. While our preference would be to attack another outright, Society does not usually condone direct assault. And so more often than not, we attempt to reclaim our innocence and fill our sense of lack by establishing dependent relationships with those special people who have the special something we require to meet our special needs. We thus seek to acquire the love, attention, respect, and approval we demand by bargaining with others to get what we want and giving them what they need in return. Needless to say, the ego plans to give as little as possible and get as much as it can. The height of self-interest. Either way we choose to proceed, special love or special hate, the outcome of guilt is still the same. We have attacked others and know on some level we have attacked falsely, since, regardless of their actions, others are not responsible for our happiness or unhappiness. Only the mind's guilt can lay claim to being the cause of the effect of peace or conflict. Thus we must believe that the objects of our projected attack will attack us in return. Those who project are vigilant for their own safety. They are afraid that their projections will return and hurt them. Believing they have blotted their projections from their own minds, they also believe their projections are trying to creep back in. Since the projections have not left their minds, they are forced to engage in constant activity in order not to recognize this. This constant activity is our system of defenses designed to protect us from the attack the projection of guilt demands. Thus we all walk the world encased in defensive shields. Lesson 153 describes this attack-defense cycle. Attack, defense, defense, attack come the circles of the hours, and the days that bind the mind in heavy bands of steel with iron, overlaid, returning but to start again. There seems to be no break nor ending in the ever-tightening grip of the imprisonment upon the mind. Indeed, there appears to be no hope for breaking the grip these deadly cycles have on our minds, for the ego's strategy of preserving its identity has become a triumphant success, making itself virtually foolproof. Yet Jesus reassures us that the ego plan is not God-proof, for there remains a voice of sanity within our right minds, which continually calls us to choose again.